protecting the people should be more of a concern than spying on the people. If that makes me the enemy, like, I don't know what then.
Every piece of tech that you've ever bought probably came with an instruction manual, except for AI. So how the heck are us everyday business owners actually supposed to use it? Today, I'm joined by Jonathan Walling, founder of Guardian Technology Solutions. You see, Jonathan spent a decade working on the classified machine learning side before generative AI ever hit the mainstream. The cool thing about today's conversation is that he's not here to push any of the crazy trends out there. No, instead, he's on a mission to build a straightforward user manual for business owners like us who maybe are feeling a little bit overwhelmed by this whole AI thing. Sit back and enjoy the show.
So I'm Jonathan Walling. I'm a CEO and founder of Guardian Technology Solutions, LLC. We're based out of O'Fallon, Illinois. I service the greater St. Louis area as well as nationwide. Currently, the only place I don't go to is California. I just don't want to play with AI compliance in California. So, outside of that, like, hey, if I'm already compliant in my own state of Illinois, I'm still playing some ball.
Right? It's like one thing at a time, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe eventually,
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like, is it more energy than I want to spend?
no, I know how that
Um,
is.
yeah.
100%.
And so, outside of doing like AI with the national theme, I operate essentially an operating AI literacy from medium to small business, or small to medium business, all the way to mid cap, and even all the way up to enterprise, depending on what kind of training they're looking for. When it comes to the literacy side of how do you use AI within your institution or within your workforce. So it's kind of like workforce development, workforce transformation. I essentially created a curriculum. The curriculum is then based off a doctrine that I've authored, and that doctrine is actually then like supported by multiple doctrines, and ultimately they're umbrellaed under one like founding doctrine, which is the doctrine based on human authority over artificial intelligence, and it comes to like relating the idea of like technology married to like philosophy and theology. One's foundational, one's questioning like certain existence and models, and like you know within collaborating within my own mind of like how do I see things, how do I hear things, what are being said, what is essentially the truth, compared to what are hypocrisies or like hypotheticals or even hyping, like the just hyperinflated of information that may be fallacy. Um,
Okay, so I think I'm getting what you're saying pretty much.
yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially when a company hears the word just when they hear AI language, right?
Mm-hmm.
They feel two different feelings. One being like almost like a feeling of being left out, right? And they're like, "Oh, I need to get in on this. Everyone's doing it. I need to
FOMO.
be a part of it." And the other feeling is a feeling of overwhelm, maybe a little bit of confusion and all that fun
Fear.
stuff, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
fear, exactly, exactly. What you do is you come along into these businesses and you kind of you help them translate and you communicate to them.
I build trust.
Yeah,
Essentially.
talk about that. Trust in
Um,
AI,
so
trust in
like,
themselves.
well, um, not so much trust in the AI.
Mm,
Actually, kind of the opposite. Essentially, I established trust back in the ability and capability of humanity.
mm.
So essentially, it's establishing a capable workforce. Using AI and knowing how to use judgment and authority and establishing like principles of operation and systematic structure with AI, um, to it to hold or to tether or to hold accountable. So it's a
So
matter
like
of
hold AI accountable
oh,
and
100%.
help, yeah,
It's
and
I
the
mean
humans using it Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so imagine a black hole that's forever hungry of information and knowledge. So essentially, like AI wants to be fed. People are like not thinking through processes. All they're seeing is dollar signs or greed. And this overhype is to essentially inflate the process so that then this money trickles down to data centers, and then more data centers is more data, more control. Data is new commodity. Well, it's not even a new commodity, it's just being overly ripened as commodity now. And essentially, the more you control, the more you can hold leverage. So it's one of those things now where it's like, I'm all for decentralized data. So like, leave my shit alone, and I will leave your data alone, because like there's private things I'm building. Like if I'm building, I don't want to share what I'm building out loud. Not until I'm not and not until I'm done with it. Like let me at least build it out before you start to like nitpick or steal. And it's one of those things where essentially like people are giving us all these tools, but how much of it do you like, how much do you control, like how much do you own?
Hmm.
um and those are like,
Let's try to break this down to like bite-sized pieces for people who are completely new to
yeah,
this idea. Okay.
yeah, so it's like essentially we could talk about an ethical side to this, cutting out the disinformation, cutting out the overhype, explaining the tools, explaining the process of the tools, the governance, the guidance.
Tell me why a business owner should care about this.
I mean, essentially, it's coming back to now data is currency, and data is an asset. It's a business asset. Whatever you've made, whatever you hold, someone's going to want that in their system of metrics. They want to train it against or train it with, or absorb this data following human behaviors. There's so much that can be taken out of data, and essentially mom and pop shops are like the most at risk business for the fact that they're high risk business. They essentially are running on the um, cortisol, like fight or flight. We need to make the next buck to make the next payment to stay in business.
Right, like very reactionary.
Yeah. And at doing that, like capital is like very stingent, and security is not. Essentially it's a burdensome price to pay. Like essentially it's one of those things, how much can I ride out without it costing me? But essentially it's the biggest gamble. So if someone were to like come in, get all that stuff, all your proprietary trademark, whatever it may be, your IP, like things you're developing, your that you hold somewhere, um like I have to break it down all the way to like that kind of foundation. Like there's a governance behind it. It's like, how much do you want to essentially protect? Because what AI does is AI opens up, once things get to AI, it essentially the lack of gatekeep. So AI is essentially breaking gatekeep or running in controlled narratives. So like essentially trained on biased data of a type,
Hmm.
which could potentially be a problem if not already, which is a concern. But essentially, everything's kind of changing. Like business had a lot of things gate kept, like how their business worked. Well, now that all this knowledge base is out there and it's been trained on, you can essentially like start to put puzzle pieces together through questioning. And that comes back into like the whole critical thinking, and then merging it with creative thinking, and then essentially having to create an authority or an accountability companion on that, because there needs to be limiting factors. Like, do I believe that AI should be weaponized? No. Do I believe that it's going to, it doesn't matter if it is or isn't, it's going to happen, because they're going to run it on the most you know whatever basic bullshit excuses. If we don't do it, our enemies will do it. So essentially, we must do it. That's why I'm saying governance is huge. Like, like protecting the people should be more of a concern than spying on the people. For the people, not against the people. And if that makes me the enemy, like, I don't know what then.
If this episode left you with more questions than you came in with, or you want to go check out Jonathan for whatever reason, I highly recommend you check him out and Guardian Technology Solutions on LinkedIn. I'll make sure to put a link to his LinkedIn down in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening, and this was the School of Business podcast.